as the Packers get the victory yesterday, and we are debating this morning whether or not that is the signature win that we have been clamoring for and hoping for this team. I am very optimistic that what we have seen from the Packers, the progress that they have made, the focus on things that have plagued them in the weeks leading up to this, bodes very well for this team to make a postseason run, a deep postseason run. And the fact that they have only lost by minimal margins, by the way, to some of the top teams in the NFC lets me believe they are a top team in the NFC. Now, Chewy has said, and he is not here today, but he has said they can beat anybody. And I'm inclined to believe that. I'm inclined to agree with him on that. They can beat anybody. The question will be, can they string together a number of wins? This stretch that you've seen them on, the Miami, the 49ers, the Seattle, good-ish teams. 49ers have been banged up, obviously. They're a shell of their former selves. But Seattle's a good team. They're a playoff team. Losing their starting quarterback in the game obviously changes the dynamic of that team, the strength of that team. But the Packers get out of there with a victory, and it feels to me like they continue, to quote Mike McCarthy, stacking success, Gabe. And that's why I feel optimistic and pleased this morning with, for the most part, what we saw from the Green Bay Packers last night. You are a little more like the things that I didn't like have the potential to bite them in the butt. Yeah. Going forward.
Absolutely, because I just don't feel any different about this team. Yes, it's a good win.
Wait, you learned nothing about them last night? You learned nothing?
No. I mean,
even the fast start.
Do it again. Do it again. Like that's because that's what you have to do. Yeah, it's great. It's great they got off to a fast start in Dallas last year. Didn't really help against San Francisco. The mistakes that they made throughout the course of the season bit them when they played San Fran last year. And they continue to make some of those mistakes last night. You cannot take your foot off the gas. Like, this is still a playoff team. It is still a good team. But I don't feel any more confident about them going on a deep run. And I don't know if they can beat anybody. They can play with anyone.
What do you mean? What's the distinction? I don't understand. What's the distinction? You don't think that they can play with anyone, but they can't beat anyone?
Correct.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to take the field. You mean play, like make it competitive?
Correct. They haven't, basically and I know that the point spreads were a little bit different earlier in the year because we didn't know what Malik Willis was, but throw that aside. Basically, every game that Jordan Love has been in, they've lost what they were supposed to lose, and they've won what they've supposed to win. So if you go on the road as an underdog, like, they haven't proven that they can beat the teams that are better than them. Like, they haven't gone on the road, hey, this team's better than you, go beat them. Or even at home against the Vikings and against the Lions. They weren't able to get that done. Now, they'll have that opportunity, certainly, in 2 weeks against the Minnesota Vikings, but they haven't shown that they can win those games. They've shown, again, the first Vikings game, it was, the final score is 2 points, but the game wasn't that close. Like, they got a touchdown late to make it seem closer than it actually was. It's not like they had the ball the way they did to try to take a lead against Philadelphia. They didn't. They never had an opportunity late in the game to actually win that one. But they just haven't shown that they can actually beat those teams. They can hang. Yeah, you can hang. But can you avoid the critical mistakes that are going to plague you and ultimately cost you?
But I don't know that you need to have shown that you can beat those teams at this point. That's why they play the games. That's why you're going to face another team in the division. That's why you're going to go on the road and have to play these tough, hostile environments. Like, that's why you play the games. And I guess I am looking at the things that they have done better and the improvements they have made from when we could be justifiably critical early in the season, when we could say, Jordan, what the hell are you doing? What kind of decision was that by the QB? You know, what kind of drop was that? Guys, catch the ball. And I know that there are still criticisms of Christian Watson and the way that he catches the ball and how he still kind of corrals it with his body. But you mentioned that was a great catch by him last night, pirouetting down the sideline, if you will. So my point is, I can see incremental improvement in all of these areas. I'm not going to let the fact that they took their foot off the gas, and again, I would like for it to have been locked in with when Geno Smith went out, because then it would be easier for me to justify. I could say, well, their starting quarterback went out. It was a foregone conclusion that the Packers were going to win that game. It was more of a formality than anything else. They took their foot off the gas, but they don't line up timeline-wise, right? They took the foot off the gas before Geno Smith was out of the game.
At the start of the second half, they took the foot off.
And that's why you are frustrated with the... God, where did my list go? I had the list. Punt, fumble, punt, field goal, punt, field goal, field goal. I got to go back to the 𝘾𝐺 Chalamet. If you missed that, you can find that on Wisconsin On Demand.
It was
wherever you get your podcast.
Punt, field goal, punt, fumble, punt downs.
Say it again.
Punt, field goal, punt, fumble, punt downs.
All right. I like yours. I like mine better than yours. Lots of people weighing in this morning.
It's what happened.
I know. Just
the facts of the game.
Lots of people weighing in this morning on the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line. And get the drop ready. Just get it ready for me, Will. Part-time Will. Get the drop ready for me because the reaction is similar over and over again. Gabe, I know they won the Super Bowl, but I have concerns going forward. Punt, fumble, punt, time management, uniforms, etc. That's one reaction rolling in. Gabe is a word you can't say on the radio. That coming from Nick. Nick is not happy with you this morning, Gabe. People are frustrated. Nick also saying Gabe is a poo-pooer. No team plays a full game with a couple of bad drives. Will someone give Donnie Downer his bottle and tuck him into bed? He sounds like my 4-year-old who needs a nap. That from Jeff in the 920.
Umbrella and say, tut-tut, it looks like rain.
You want me to lie about what this team is? I can't. I mean, I've got eyes. I watch what the other teams do. I watch what they did against the Detroit Lions.
Umbrella and say, tut-tut, it looks like rain.
Johnny Raincloud, we get it. Can we please enjoy the win for Crumb's sake?
So I do enjoy the win. I get painted in this corner. I get thrown in this corner because I see I'm just supposed to be happy with everything they do. You know what? It's okay that Matt LaFleur just completely botched the time management situation. That's okay, because I'm sure that won't ever come back to bite. You know what? Time management's never been a team in the history of the NFL.
But wouldn't you rather they make those mistakes now and then everybody put the spotlight on them so that you can address them, right? That's why coaches sometimes say, now I don't want them to lose games, but sometimes coaches say it is better to lose a game on the path to a championship because it reminds you that you still have work to do. It reminds you of the things that you're not good at or that can, as you just mentioned, trip you up in a win or go home situation. I would much rather have that happen now than in the second week of the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't fix everything is the problem. There are things in every game, even the wins, that continuously pop up because they are the youngest team in the league. They are going to make mistakes. And that's why I don't have Super Bowl expectations. If we have Super Bowl expectations, if we don't, I can change. I can change these. If we don't have Super Bowl expectations, then I can let some of these things go. But if the expectation, if you are a fan that is thinking Super Bowl or bust, then you have to look at this team with a more critical eye instead of just going, you know what, first half was great, that's all I need. No, you got to be more critical because there are teams that are waiting for you that aren't going to make most mistakes or have a healthy quarterback and be able to take advantage of you taking your foot off the gas.
And say, tut-tut, it looks like rain.
Gabe does too much national sports media. Now it's detoted him completely. That from Mike in 𝘃𝐺𝑆burg. I thought this was a Victory Monday. Way too much negativity from Gabe. That from Chef Ed. Welcome to Negative Monday. Victory Monday is officially dead. Thank you, Johnny Raincloud. I will celebrate a great game in a tough place to play.
Right.
Great defensive performance. Another great job by Love. And the offense put up 30 points.
At least I feel good about this because I feel Tausch is on my side here. Last night on Green Bay game night, I feel like he summed it up in his opening statement that he does every night with Homer by saying that, because I don't think Tausch I could not agree with Tausch any more than when he said this.
Good win tonight. I'm not sure it's going to end up in the long run being all that meaningful from a playoff standpoint. And I don't think the way we played in the second half, we got that stamp of, well, we're all back. We're good. We're ready to roll. I don't think any of those things really were accomplished outside of what we saw in the first half tonight.
Because if you want to be that team that you're talking about, Jen, and I agree with Tausch, because the way you played in the second half, if you want to be that team that everybody fears, you keep that foot down. You do what Tampa Bay did against the Chargers. You score 40. That's what you do in the second half. That's how you become that hot team that nobody wants to see, is you eliminate these mistakes. And yeah, you're going to have that opportunity over the next 3, but you have to start eliminating these mistakes. A lot of them just keep popping up each and every game. Yeah, there's no such thing as a perfect game. Not every play you're going to call works. But I saw teams in the Rams put up 44 points not that long ago. The Buccaneers just put up 40 points. The Eagles are the most
Lions
complete team in the league.
Even in a loss.
Even in a loss, the Lions are putting up 40 points. Like, you put that foot down and you keep that accelerator. Go do what Matt LaFleur said all those years ago. All gas, no brake. Too often, we see them get that lead and become a little break check, see what happens here.
David in the 262 saying, can somebody tell Gabe that the Packers actually won the game? That from David in Grafton. Johnny Raincloud, here he goes. The well played by Gabe Neitzel. That's talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Tut tut, it looks like rain.
Jay weighing in saying, I agree with Gabe. Glad to hear a local radio guy actually be honest about the Packers. Ryan from Aguanago saying, Gabe is correct in his assessment of the green and gold.
Gabe is right.
We've
got a Gabe is right?
That drop.
Part-time Will? That wasn't? Okay.
I feel so bad for Gabe. People say he's either Johnny Raincloud or a toad. He's actually being reasonable. And then Brent saying, Gabe is Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Oh, bother. Look at you. You're victoring.
I am victoring.
You're over here like
I've got my followers.
taking a victory lap.
I've got the people that see, that understand what's going out there.
Justin says, can't we just have a nice victory Monday and get all of the criticism out in the next 4 freaking days? That's my complaint. Monday's already suck enough, Gabe. Look at Gabe just upping the suckage on Monday. He's increasing the suckage.
Chewy and Garfield, you hate Mondays? Love lasagna?
Johnny Raincloud, any given Sunday, anything can happen. And look at 2010. You would have probably been even more critical of that team. Not sure why you took on the anti-Packers persona.
It's not anti-Packers. That's the thing. It's not anti-Packers. So if you are even an ounce of critical against the Packers, it's anti? Like, so you're going to tell me with a straight face, punt, field goal, punt, fumble, punt, downs. You're going to tell me that that's fine with a straight face. Like, I'm not allowed to notice that? I just got to bury my head in the sand and pretend it didn't happen? Is that what I have to do? I just want to know what the standard is. Just somebody let me know what the standard is. And I guess if you want me to bury my head in the sand on punt, field goal, punt, fumble, punt, downs, I can. I can bury my head and pretend like it didn't happen.
Omar weighing in saying, Hermano, I agree with you from your Puerto Rican brother. 30 points on the road is good. What are we doing here? A historically tough place to play that we haven't won at in a while. That from Justin.